The vibration of my phone slices through the chaos of the ER like a knife. 3 trauma cases in the past hour, and now my phone buzzes against my hip, urgent enough to make my stomach tighten. No one calls during my shift unless something's wrong. I duck into the supply closet, pulling off my blood-streaked gloves. The caller ID reads Lily's name and my heart races. Honey? What's wrong, I ask. Her voice cracks with sobs. Mom, my key doesn't work anymore. What do you mean it doesn't work? I hold the phone closer, straining to hear over the hospital announcements. I put it in and it won't turn, she says, words catching between ragged breaths. I'm outside and it's raining hard. Oscar won't stop crying in his carrier. I close my eyes, picturing my 12-year-old daughter on the porch, backpack soaked, clutching the cat carrier as rain drenches her. Where's Grandma? Or Tessa? No one's answering. I see lights, but no one comes when I knock. A cold dread fills me. I'll be there soon. Go to the side porch, it has more cover. I'm leaving now. I bolt out of the closet, nearly colliding with Dr. Martinez. The ER is a battlefield of stretchers and monitors, the constant beeping of machines underscoring the chaos. Gianna, we need you in Bay 3, the GSW from the pileup. My daughter's locked out, I interrupt, panic tasting sharp on my tongue. I have to go, he blinks at me. We're swamped. Can someone else get her? There is no one else. The truth hits me sharply. There never has been. I push past him toward the nurse's station. Supervisor Wheeler is updating charts, eyes narrowing as I approach. Nancy, I need to leave. Family emergency, she exhales heavily. Gianna, we're short 3 nurses already. Can it wait? My father just died, Nancy. Her expression softens and she nods. Go. Rain lashes down as I pull into our driveway. Through the windshield wipers, I spot Lily huddled under the side porch overhang. Hair plastered to her head, uniform soaked, cat carrier at her feet emitting pitiful yowls. I leave the car running and sprint through the rain, water soaking my scrubs instantly. I'm here, baby. I'm here, I whisper. Lily collapses against me, shivering. Why doesn't my key work? She asks. I don't know, honey, I say, stroking her wet hair, mind racing. Let me try mine. We reach the front door. I notice the curtains shift slightly inside. The house is occupied. My key slides in but doesn't turn, just as Lily said. I pound on the door. Hello? Marjorie? Tessa? Open up. The door swings open, and I come face to face with my mother. Marjorie stands there, wine glass in hand, silver hair perfectly styled. Behind her, my half-sister Tessa leans against the wall, swirling her own glass of red wine. Well, Marjorie says slowly, eyes taking in our drenched forms. You got here faster than I expected. What's going on? I try to usher Lily inside. Why aren't our keys working? Marjorie blocks the doorway firmly, a surprising force for a 65-year-old. We've decided you and Lily don't live here anymore. The words hit like a foreign language. What are you talking about? This is our home. Not anymore. Tessa steps forward, smirking. She gestures toward the street. Your things are on the curb. Whatever's left of them. The rain has been relentless today. I follow her motion and see cardboard boxes breaking apart in the downpour, clothes and books scattered across the soaked lawn, my medical textbooks. Lily's school projects, our lives, literally dissolving in the rain. Oscar lets out another pitiful meow from his carrier, his cries piercing the rainfall. A cold, heavy weight settles in my chest. I look at Marjorie, the woman who gave birth to me, whom I moved back home to support when Dad fell ill, and find no familiarity in her eyes. Understood. My voice is quiet but steady. Tessa raises her eyebrows as if disappointed by my calm. 2 years ago, I gave up my downtown apartment, paused a career track promotion at the hospital, to care for my terminally ill father, Dr. Peter Reynolds, a man respected by all, except apparently by his own wife. I had fallen into the pattern I knew best, stepping in when others stepped back. 14-hour hospital shifts, then home to manage medications, appointments, and the household, while Marjorie played bridge and Tessa only visited occasionally. You've always been the strong one, Gianna, I remember her saying. I had silently promised to hold our family together after Dad's death. I just hadn't imagined that holding it together would mean fighting for survival so literally. Come on. Lily, I say softly, turning from the door. Let's get our things. We step back into the rain toward the soggy boxes on the curb. Lily's shoulders shake, but she doesn't cry. She's her mother's daughter. I pop open the trunk of my Honda CR-V and start gathering what I can salvage. Warped books, photo albums with colors bleeding together, Lily's science fair ribbon, the ink smearing. Marjorie stands on the porch watching. "Your father spoiled you," she calls. This was always my house. Across the street, neighbors peek from their windows. Mrs. Donovan covering her mouth, the Fishers whispering behind curtains. I walk back to the door once more, rain streaming down my face. "We'll be at the Residence Inn on 5th. Forward our mail." Lily tugs at my soaked scrub top. "But Grandpa's books are still inside," she whispers, her voice breaking. I squeeze her hand and meet Marjorie's gaze. "Trust me, honey. This isn't over." Something flickers in my mother's expression. Surprise, perhaps, at not finding the doormat she expects. Behind her, Tessa refills her wine glass, her hand slightly unsteady. As we drive away, I see Marjorie in the rearview mirror, still on the porch. For a moment, I glimpse what has always been there. Not love, but resentment. Resentment toward the bond I shared with my father, a bond she never had. The rain drums on the car roof. Beside me, Lily cradles Oscar's carrier. Ahead lies uncertainty, yet for the first time in 2 years, something unexpected unfurls in my chest. Something like freedom. The next day, our room at the Residence Inn looks like the aftermath of a storm. Soggy cardboard boxes lie across the beige carpet. Lily's school uniform hangs over the shower rod, still dripping. Oscar huddles under the desk, his orange fur damp and matted. I lay out every salvaged possession like artifacts at an archaeological dig, noting what survived and what didn't. Nursing textbooks with warped pages. Lily's science notes now illegible. A family photo where Dad's face has blurred into a watercolor ghost. I call Michael Porter's office. A crisp voice answers on the 4th ring. "This is Gianna Reynolds. I need to speak with Michael immediately regarding my father's estate." "I'm sorry, Miss Reynolds, but Mr. Porter is in court today." "Tell him it's Peter Reynolds' daughter. Marjorie has locked us out of the house." Silence stretches on the line before the receptionist responds. "Please hold." Moments later, Michael's breathless voice comes through. "Gianna, what's happening?" I relay the situation clinically as I would a patient's condition. Locked doors, changed locks, possessions left in the rain. Facts? No emotion. "That's impossible," Michael interrupts. "Gianna, your father transferred the house to you and Lily's trust 6 months ago." The room feels off-kilter. "What?" I ask. "Peter put the house in a trust for you and Lily. Marjorie has no legal right to be here, let alone lock you out." I slump onto the edge of the bed, my legs suddenly weak. "Why didn't he tell me?" "There's a letter with the documents," Michael explains. "He asked me not to mention it until it became necessary." Lily steps out of the bathroom, her hair wrapped in a hotel towel, watching me with eyes older than her 12 years. "I'm coming to your office," I tell Michael. "Now." An hour later, I'm staring at legal papers spread across Michael's mahogany desk. Property transfer forms, trust agreements, all signed, notarized, and filed with the county. "Your father was thorough," Michael says, sliding a sealed envelope toward me. "He wanted you to have this if something like this happened." The envelope bears my name and my father's distinctive handwriting. I break the seal and unfold the letter. "My dearest Gianna, if you're reading this, Marjorie has done exactly what I feared. The house is yours and Lily's. It always has been in my heart. Marjorie has never valued what she doesn't truly own, the home, you, or me. I've watched her resentment grow, especially toward you. You returned when I needed you most, sacrificing everything. You've always carried others even when your own shoulders were breaking. Take care of our girl and the home will take care of you both. All my love, Dad." A tear falls on the signature, smudging the ink. "Your father anticipated this," Michael says quietly. "We have everything we need for an emergency injunction. Marjorie and Tessa are inside illegally." My phone buzzes with a text from Karen Westfield, our neighbor. "They're moving furniture and painting my room. Tessa's SUV has been shuttling more items all day. They've moved in completely," I tell Michael, showing him the text. "Within 24 hours of locking us out," Michael's jaw tightens. "This was planned in advance. I need a full assessment. What are we up against?" "Marjorie will claim you abandoned your father and that you're an unfit mother," Michael warns. "Tessa called me this morning," he continues. "She's questioning your mental state after your father's death, saying you've been erratic." "Erratic?" I repeat, anger rising. She also said Ray wants to convert your father's study for the twins. Another text from Karen. The boys are jumping on Lily's bed. I see them through the window. Something shifts inside me. I walk to the window overlooking downtown Austin. My hospital ID hangs from my neck, photo showing a woman in scrubs ready to save lives. I catch my reflection, eyes hard as river stones, jaw set. I save strangers every day, I whisper. Now it's time to save us. Lily looks up from her box, watching me with cautious hope, like the first sprout breaking through scorched earth. This isn't about revenge, I tell Michael, turning back to the desk. It's about justice. I make 3 decisions rapidly, the way I triage in a mass casualty. I'll call in sick for 3 days to build our case. Michael nods and starts pulling out forms. I'll file for emergency possession. Your father knew this might happen, Gianna. He left everything prepared. Back at the hotel, Dr. Sarah Williams waits in the lobby with 2 suitcases. Clean scrubs, clothes for both of you, and real shampoo, she says. Her kindness nearly breaks me. I haven't cried since finding my father's body. An hour later, Lily's teacher, Miss Bennett, arrives with schoolwork and quiet strength reminiscent of my father. Lily is one of their strongest students. She tells me things privately, all documented for records. By evening, the hotel room has transformed from a disaster zone into a command center. Michael has scheduled a meeting with the bank manager, who verifies the trust details and offers a short-term credit line based on the home's equity. Your father's foresight was remarkable, the manager tells me. The trust is ironclad. The phone rings again, an unfamiliar number. Jana? No, it's Eleanor. My mother's younger sister, someone I haven't spoken to in years. Eleanor? I answer cautiously. I know what Marjorie's done, she says, her voice sharp with anger. She's been planning this since Peter's diagnosis. She told me at Christmas she was ready to reclaim her life once he was gone. Why are you telling me this? I ask. Because what she's doing is wrong, Eleanor replies evenly. And because Tessa's already listed some of your father's medical equipment on Facebook Marketplace. I have screenshots. By midnight, the emergency court filing is complete. My savings are nearly drained by the legal retainer, but for the first time in days, I feel something like hope. Lily sits on the edge of the hotel bed, gently stroking Oscar, who's finally crawled out from under the desk. I miss Mittens, she whispers, her other cat. Still trapped in the house, we'll get her back, I assure her. And Grandpa's books? Everything, Lily, I promise. She studies me with that sharp, thoughtful gaze she inherited from my father. Mom? Yes? The hardest person to stand up to is your mother. She quotes the line from a book we read last summer, but now it feels heavier, truer. I sit beside her, holding her close. Yes, I say softly, but not as hard as letting her hurt you. My phone lights up with a message from Michael. The law is unquestionably on your side. Outside, the rain taps gently against the window, not washing things away, but cleansing them. Renewing them. A week later, at 3:17 a.m., Marjorie's Facebook post appears on my screen. I'm already awake, staring at the hotel ceiling, listening to Lily's calm breathing beside me. Please pray for our family during this difficult time, my mother had written. After Peter's passing, Gianna has chosen to abandon the family home where she was raised. Some grief shows itself as rebellion, even in adults. Your support means everything. 27 sympathetic comments already. Hearts and prayer hands from church members who've known me since childhood. I set the phone aside. Documentation, not reaction. That's what Michael had stressed yesterday. Mom? Lily's voice breaks the silence. You okay? Just checking messages, honey. Go back to sleep. I can't. Mrs. Peterson texted me something strange. Tessa told her mom I might not be at school because of your mental health issues. The words freeze me. Tessa had started spreading rumors at Lily's school. By morning, the whispers had spread. Aunt Catherine called while I was in the shower. Uncle Robert during breakfast. Cousin Jennifer on our drive to Michael's office. Each of them concerned about my supposed erratic behavior since Dad's death. They're building a narrative, Michael said, spreading documents across his desk. Marjorie has refused certified letters. 3 attempts already. I nodded, opening my notebook. Tessa's husband, Ray, followed me into the hospital parking garage last night. He claimed I was making things more complicated than necessary. Michael's eyebrows rose. Did anyone see this? Security cameras would have caught it. I've already requested the footage. A small smile touched Michael's lips. You're getting good at this. The wall calendar behind him showed today's date circled in red. 1 week since the lockout. 1 week since everything changed. My nurses are keeping detailed records of every moment I spent at the hospital caring for Dad. I tapped my pen against the notebook. Dr. Nichols is preparing a statement regarding Dad's mental capacity when he made the trust changes. The sheriff's office confirmed they'll enforce any court order we receive, Michael added. I also spoke with hospital administration this morning. They're offering full support. An unfamiliar feeling stirred in my chest, not the panic of that first night, nor the shock of discovering Dad had transferred the house to me. Something steadier, calmer. I need my daughter's birth certificate, I said, and Dad's medical files. They're in the filing cabinet in his study. Michael's pen paused mid-note. We can request duplicates through... I want the originals. Today. 40 minutes later, I parked 3 houses down from what was now legally mine. The cruiser I'd arranged sat quietly at the corner, Officer Banks giving a subtle nod. Walking to the front door felt both familiar and strange. 7 days ago, I'd stood here, soaked, watching my life unravel. Today, my footsteps sounded different. Marjorie answered on the third knock, her face freezing mid-smile as she recognized me. You're not welcome here, she said, gripping the doorframe. I held up my phone, recording. I'm legally requesting my daughter's birth certificate and my father's medical records. Tessa appeared behind Marjorie, face flushed. We'll call the police if you don't leave. I've already informed them I'd be here. I nodded toward Officer Banks, stepping out of his cruiser. This is a documented request for my legal property. Marjorie's eyes welled with tears, a tactic that had often worked on me. After everything I've done for you? When the tears didn't sway me, her expression shifted. Sadness hardened into something sharper, more threatening. You think you can take what's mine? Your father never appreciated me either. Mrs. Daniels watered her flower beds across the street, pretending not to listen. Mr. Wilson slowed his walk, his dog pausing conveniently near our driveway. The filing cabinet and Dad's study, I repeated. I'll wait here while you bring the documents. 10 minutes later, I walked back to my car with a manila envelope containing the original birth certificate and Dad's medical records. Small victories, necessary ones. The next morning, Dr. Williams met me in the hospital cafeteria before my shift. I've completed my statement regarding your father's care, she said, sliding a sealed envelope across the table. 2 years of watching me juggle full-time work while caring for him, she had seen it all. No jury could doubt your dedication. Mrs. Bennett. Lily's teacher, called that afternoon. I've documented Lily's bond with her grandfather, she said. How he attended every school event while you were working, and how she read to him daily during his illness. By evening, Michael had filed an emergency possession order supported by 17 signed affidavits. Eleanor called, he said as I arrived at his office. Marjorie's been photographing family heirlooms for an estate sale website. I felt my jaw tighten. Dad's collection? And your grandmother's silver? The antique furniture from the library? Father Morgan, the hospital chaplain, had left a message on my phone. He'd provided a character witness statement about my visits with Dad, the prayers we shared, and the family Bible I brought to his bedside. People were choosing sides, not the ones Marjorie had expected. Thursday brought the shift I had been waiting for. The judge reviewed our case and moved the hearing date forward. I want to deliver this personally, Michael said, holding the eviction notice. His eyes glinted with a mix of mischief and justice. I sat in my car across the street, watching Michael approach the front door in his crisp suit. Marjorie answered, accepting the certified letter reluctantly. Through the windshield, I watched her as she read the opening lines. Her hands shook as she reached the declaration. Property owner, Gianna Reynolds. Tessa appeared in the doorway, phone pressed to her ear, speaking rapidly to their attorney. Marjorie didn't move, still clutching the paper as Michael walked back to his car. For the first time since this began, I saw something beyond manipulation in my mother's face. Understanding, the realization that I wouldn't back down. That evening, Michael spread our documentation across his conference table like a general mapping a battlefield. Court affidavits from 3 of Dad's doctors confirming his mental competency. Trust documents with the ownership transfer timeline highlighted. Photographs. I had taken of our belongings on the curb, rain soaking the cardboard. Lily shivering under the porch light. The calendar is especially powerful, Michael said, pointing to the color-coded schedule I maintained. Green for Dad's appointments, blue for medication changes, red for ER visits. 2 years of caregiving condensed into 12 detailed pages. And these, he added, tapping the financial records, show every mortgage payment I made, every utility bill I covered while Marjorie spent her widow's pension on bridge club dues and weekend trips to Galveston. The law doesn't care about feelings, Michael said, gathering the papers into a leather portfolio. It cares about facts. My phone buzzed as I pulled into the hotel parking lot that evening. A text from Michael. Court date moved up. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. Lily sat cross-legged on the hotel bed, Oscar purring in her lap. What if we lose, Mom? She asked, her voice fragile, unlike the confident 12-year-old who aced her science presentation last month. I sat beside her, running my hand over Oscar's fur. We won't, I said. Your grandfather made sure of that. Later, after Lily fell asleep, I opened a folder I hadn't shared with Michael. Inside was a handwritten letter from Dad to the judge, dated 3 weeks before his death, explaining why he had transferred the house to me instead of his wife of 40 years. His elegant handwriting filled 3 pages with truths Marjorie never wanted revealed. Tomorrow is the final battle. But tonight, for the first time since the rain-soaked lockout, I slept peacefully. The courthouse gleams in the morning sun as I adjust my blazer. No scrubs today. Today, I am not Gianna the nurse. I am Gianna the plaintiff, fighting for what's rightfully mine. Lily stands beside me, posture straight despite her trembling hand in mine. Ready? Michael Porter appears, briefcase packed with our evidence. I nod. We are prepared. Inside, the polished floors reflect our determined faces. Courtroom B smells of furniture polish and nervous sweat. I scan the room and freeze. Marjorie and Tessa are already seated, heads bent in conspiratorial whispers. My mother looks up, her practiced smile faltering when she sees the calm in my eyes. No panic. No pleading. Just calm certainty. Michael arranges documents carefully on the table. The judge assigned to our case is meticulous. She will value our attention to detail. Will they make me speak? Lily whispers, her gaze on Tessa's twin boys slouching in the back row. Only if you choose, I reply, though Michael had prepped her just in case. Judge Harriet Caldwell enters, silver hair tightly pulled back, her eyes scanning the room with precision. Reynolds family trust dispute, temporary possession hearing, she announces, settling into her chair. Michael rises first, presenting a leather portfolio. Your Honor, we've prepared a complete timeline documenting Dr. Peter Reynolds' decisions regarding his property. He unfolds charts, dates, signatures, witness statements, clear evidence of my father's intentions. Affidavits from 3 separate physicians confirm he was of sound mind when transferring property ownership. Michael continues, placing documents before the judge, his oncologist, neurologist, and primary care physician of over 20 years. Next, Michael presents financial records. Bank statements showing Mrs. Marjorie Reynolds contributed minimally to household expenses, while Ms. Gianna Reynolds covered property taxes and maintenance alongside her father. I notice Marjorie's attorney shifting uneasily. Tessa's expression darkens with each document Michael presents. Additionally, Michael says, tapping his tablet, we have a video deposition from attorney James Wilson, who prepared the original trust documents. The courtroom screen activates. My father's attorney, gray-haired and composed, appears. Dr. Reynolds was explicit in his wishes. The property was to pass to his daughter Gianna and granddaughter Lily's trust upon his death. He had concerns Mrs. Reynolds might try to circumvent these intentions. Marjorie gasps audibly. Our final witness, Ms. Patricia Hendricks, Lily's school counselor, approaches with calm professionalism. She testifies that Lily has suffered significant distress since being removed from her home, nightmares, anxiety, and decreased academic performance. The stability of her home environment was essential after her grandfather's passing. I squeeze Lily's hand under the table. She faces forward, chin raised, mirroring my father's stoic posture during difficult times. The judge nods. Let's hear from the respondents. Marjorie's attorney, Gordon Shaw, rises, impeccably dressed but with a forced smile. Your Honor, this situation stems from a tragic misunderstanding. Mrs. Reynolds intended for her daughter and granddaughter to remain temporarily. Marjorie dabs at her eyes with a handkerchief. I cared for my husband throughout his illness, she claims, voice quivering. Gianna was rarely home, always at the hospital. The lie strikes me sharply. Tessa steps forward with photographs. Here's our family at Christmas, she says, showing forced smiles. And here's Mom helping Dad with medication. Each photo is a single curated moment, ignoring countless times his pills were untouched. Church members testify next, highlighting Marjorie's public piety versus her private neglect. The lockout, though unfortunate, was necessary, Shaw concludes. Judge Caldwell's expression remains neutral, though I sense a flicker of doubt. My turn arrives. I rise, projecting the professional composure honed in emergency rooms. Your Honor, I moved home 2 years ago to care for my father during his illness, I state steadily. I coordinated my hospital shifts with his treatment schedule. Michael presents my work calendar alongside my father's treatment timeline, demonstrating my consistent presence. The courtroom door opens. Marjorie's sister Eleanor enters unexpectedly. Michael introduces her. Miss Eleanor Blackwell has requested to provide testimony. Eleanor confirms she visited her brother-in-law weekly and often found him alone while Marjorie attended social events. Gianna, she states, managed his medications, meals, and comfort. Marjorie's half-rise is intercepted by her attorney. Michael presents a sealed envelope. Your Honor, Dr. Reynolds anticipated disputes and prepared this letter for the court if needed. Judge Caldwell opens it, eyebrows lifting. Mom? Lily's voice breaks the tension. Judge Caldwell gestures. Lily walks to the stand, her uniform neat. My grandfather taught me chess every Sunday, she begins. Even when he was very sick, he said the house would always be there for Mom and me. He said Grandma didn't appreciate what she had. I blink back tears. Dignity, not drama, will guide this case. I just want to go home, Lily concludes. I let the evidence speak. Marjorie rises abruptly. She manipulated her dying father, she shouts. Peter wasn't thinking clearly. Mrs. Reynolds, control yourself, Judge Caldwell warns. During recess, Michael and Tessa's husband, Ray, are caught on security cameras as Ray whispers a threat. You'll regret taking this case. Back in session, Marjorie's attorney challenges the trust documents, but their prior knowledge and signatures undermine the argument. Mrs. Reynolds, these records show you attended only 3 of your husband's 27 oncology appointments, Judge Caldwell observes. Marjorie falters for an explanation. Tessa leaned toward her attorney, whispering urgently. I caught fragments. She had already spoken with an agent about listing the property. The judge looked up sharply. What agent would that be, Mrs. Peterson? Tessa froze, realizing her mistake. A reporter sat quietly in the back. During the next recess, Marjorie approached him. My ungrateful daughter abandoned her father and now wants to take my home, she said. My colleagues from Austin General filed into the courtroom, forming a silent wall of support. Judge Caldwell closed her folder decisively. I am granting temporary possession of the property to Gianna Reynolds and Lily Reynolds, effective immediately. The Sheriff's Department will escort Mrs. Marjorie Reynolds and Mrs. Tessa Peterson from the property by 5 p.m. today. The final hearing is set for 3 weeks from now. Marjorie slumped back in her chair, her composure finally faltering. Outside the courtroom, her attorney approached Michael. We should discuss settlement terms. I shook my head. We're past the point of negotiation. In the hallway, Tessa and Ray argued loudly. You said this would be easy, he snapped. Where are we supposed to live now? I led Lily toward the exit. The sunlight outside felt different, brighter, cleaner somehow. Is it over? Lily asked cautiously. Almost, I replied. The key's already in hand. We're going home. The phone rang at 7:15 a.m., 3 days before the final hearing. I stared at the caller ID. Mother, Gianna, Marjorie's voice quavered when I answered. I didn't sleep all night thinking about this situation. I said nothing, letting silence fill the space. I'm still your mother, she continued, her voice breaking. Family should come first. You know that's what your father would have wanted. I stirred my coffee, watching the cream swirl. Dad made his wishes clear in the trust documents. People are talking, Mom. The whole church is praying for reconciliation, her voice wavered. Pastor Williams called yesterday. He reminded me that Christian forgiveness requires reconciliation. My phone buzzed. Uncle Robert, we need to find a compromise before Thursday. This is tearing the family apart. Tessa's boys are devastated. They've already moved into the upstairs rooms. Now they have to pack again. Those rooms were never theirs, Marjorie continued. I spoke calmly. We could share the house, Marjorie pressed on. You and Lily can take the main bedroom and study. We'll take the guest room and den. Common areas can be— No, I said. The word hung between us. You're being cruel, Gianna, she snapped. What happened to the daughter who nursed her father for 2 years? Who put everyone else first? She got locked out in the rain. I ended the call as another text arrived. I set my phone face down on the counter, hands trembling slightly. Mom? Lily appeared in the doorway, Oscar circling her legs. Was that Grandma? Yes, honey. Nothing important, I forced a smile. An hour later, Michael called. Marjorie's attorney filed a motion this morning. They're requesting a mental health evaluation, claiming your grief has impaired your judgment. My stomach clenched. Can they do that? It's a delay tactic, Michael said. The hospital called too. Someone filed an anonymous complaint questioning your professional stability. F. The letter hit me like a blow. 2 years of night shifts while managing Dad's care. Never missing a dose, documenting every treatment. The school principal left a message. Tessa had been telling parents that Lily was struggling in our temporary situation. I glanced at Lily, quietly reading. Michael, am I being too harsh? Should I consider— No, he cut in. Remember what your father wrote in his letter to the judge. Marjorie has never respected boundaries. You've drawn this one clearly. Stay the course, Gianna. Wednesday morning, the day before the final hearing, my phone rang while I prepared Lily's lunch. Miss Reynolds, this is Janet from the clerk's office. We can't locate your documentation folder for tomorrow's hearing. Cold dread washed over me. What? All our evidence was submitted last week. We need these documents by noon, or the judge may grant another continuance. I called Michael immediately. His assistant answered. He's in court until 11. What's happening? I explained and raced to the hotel desk for the backup flash drive. Copies of everything were saved, but we'd need to reprint all affidavits and get them notarized. I'll meet you at the office in 20 minutes, she promised. I turned to find Lily watching, backpack in hand. You're going to be late for school. Grandpa's tablet, she said suddenly, the blue one. He had backed up all his important documents to the cloud. The password? Your birthday. 3 hours of intense work followed. Michael requested a delay after finishing his other case. The judge granted exactly 90 minutes. We finished with 11 minutes to spare, Michael said, sinking into a chair as the clerk stamped our restored evidence folder. Someone had deliberately misplaced our files. Just one more day, I whispered. Thursday morning arrived clear and cool. At 9:27 a.m., I stood by the mailbox, watching sheriff's vehicles pull into the driveway. 2 deputies in crisp uniforms approached the front door while another positioned near the garage. Michael stood beside me, briefcase in hand. Are you ready? I nodded, unable to speak. In the car, Lily clutched a framed photo of my father, her face solemn. The lead deputy knocked firmly. Sheriff's Department, please open the door. Tessa answered, her face flushed. What's the meaning of this? The deputy held up an official document. I have a writ of possession to execute. Are you Marjorie Reynolds? I'll get my mother, Tessa said, her voice tight. Marjorie appeared moments later, hair perfectly styled despite the early hour. I need to see that order. I'm not letting strangers into my home. Ma'am, I am required by law to read this aloud. You'll have 20 minutes to collect essential personal belongings under supervision. As the deputy read the court order, Marjorie's eyes met mine across the lawn, filled with palpable hatred. You have 20 minutes, the deputy concluded, and we will accompany you to ensure only personal items are removed. I stayed by the mailbox as the deputies went inside with Marjorie and Tessa. Michael activated the recording feature on his phone, documenting everything. Inside, Marjorie protested loudly. Those are family heirlooms. They belong to my husband's mother. Ma'am, the court provided an inventory list. These items are listed as property of the trust. I closed my eyes, recalling the meticulous inventory I had prepared before moving back. Every photograph, book, and piece of silver documented with my father's signature. A deputy came out carrying a cat carrier. Found this little guy under a bed. He seems underweight. Oscar's soft meow tightened my throat. I handed the carrier to Lily, who opened it immediately, tears streaming down her face. He's so skinny, Mom, she whispered, gently stroking his fur through the grate. Minutes passed. Deputies removed boxes of clothing and personal items, checking each against the inventory. Marjorie's voice rose again, joined by Tessa's husband, their argument intensifying. "Sir, step back now," a deputy ordered firmly. "Threatening language will not be tolerated." 17 minutes after entering, Marjorie stepped onto the porch, clutching her purse. Tessa followed with a small suitcase. "You'll regret this," Marjorie said, her voice carrying across the lawn. "When you need family most, remember this moment." I met her gaze steadily. "You already taught me how regret feels, standing in the rain with my daughter." The lead deputy approached with a clipboard. "Miss Reynolds, the formal transfer of possession is complete. Some items are missing from the inventory, but we have documented everything for your attorney." He handed me a ring of keys, house keys, garage keys, the tangible symbols of what had always been mine. "Your father's medical equipment was improperly stored in the basement," the deputy added quietly. "Some damage appears deliberate." "Everything has been photographed." Marjorie walked stiffly to her car without glancing back. Tessa paused at the bottom of the driveway, a flicker of recognition crossing her face before she turned away. Ray glared at me from the SUV until a deputy deliberately approached his window. The two vehicles departed in opposite directions. Neighbors who had gathered on porches and behind curtains gradually dispersed, witnessing resolution rather than drama. My phone buzzed with messages. "Uncle Robert, we didn't realize it was this bad. Call if you need anything." "The security system is reset with your code," Michael said, tucking his phone away. "I've filed a restraining order as a precaution." Lily climbed out of the car, still clutching her grandfather's photograph. She moved toward the porch steps slowly, as if unsure whether they would hold her weight. I stood in the doorway, keys in hand. Victory should have felt exhilarating, but instead there was a quiet solemnity, a home reclaimed, a boundary restored. As Michael drove off, I noticed a white envelope in the mailbox, my mother's handwriting immediately recognizable. I slipped it into my pocket unopened. Some letters could wait. 6 months later, the rain falls differently. I stand at the kitchen window, watching droplets streak the glass, remembering the night Lily and I stood soaked on the porch, locked out of our own home. Dad's study remains untouched, a sort of shrine. His medical journals line the shelves, reading glasses on the desk. The only change is the small wooden plaque Lily made, Dr. Peter Reynolds' Memorial Reading Room. Sometimes I sit in his chair, breathing in what remains of him, reading his journals, not out of obligation, but choice. Lily's garden thrives in the backyard despite the autumn chill. She calls it the Peace Project. Rows of resilient mums and late-season vegetables, each labeled carefully. She tends it daily, a dedication that reflects her grandfather's influence. The promotion letter from Austin Memorial is framed on my desk. Nursing supervisor. Emergency services. Dr. Williams insisted I accept it. "Your father would be proud," she said, squeezing my hand. "And you've earned it." I cried then, the first tears since the eviction. The new security system hums softly in the background. 6 cameras, motion sensors, reinforced locks. Not from fear, but a promise to never be vulnerable again. "Mom?" Lily's voice calls from the porch. "Come watch the rain with me." I pour 2 mugs of chamomile tea and join her. We sit in matching rocking chairs, as we did on countless evenings with Dad before his illness. The rain turns the yard into a glistening canvas. "It's raining just like that day," Lily says softly, fingers wrapped around her mug. She has grown taller, her face losing some of its childhood roundness. Trauma aged her, but healing gave her quiet strength. "Yes," I say, watching water slide off the new porch roof. Same weather, different feeling. Lily rocks gently, eyes following the rainfall. "This is our home now," she says, a statement of hard-won truth. I reach across, squeezing her hand. It always was. The rain that once symbolized rejection now feels like a lullaby, nature's steady rhythm accompanying our evening ritual. Later, I sit at my desk, journal open before me. Therapy homework, technically, but it has become more than that. Tonight's prompt: how has your definition of strength changed? My pen hovers, then moves. Strength isn't just endurance. For years, I equated strength with carrying everyone's burdens, never complaining, always saying yes. I confused sacrifice with love. Real strength, I've learned, is knowing when to draw lines, when to say no, when to protect what matters most. The hospital committee invitation sits unanswered beside my journal. 6 months ago, I would have accepted immediately, stretching myself thinner in the name of dedication. Now I see it differently. Time with Lily is non-negotiable. Some boundaries are preservation, not betrayal. I glance at the framed quote on my wall, Dad's handwriting familiar as my own. Strength isn't carrying everything. It's knowing what to put down. Oscar, now healthy and plump, jumps onto the desk, settling on my journal. His purr vibrates against my hand, a small victory for the cat who once cowered during those hotel weeks. Last night, Lily slept through until morning. No nightmares, no anxious calls. Standing in her doorway at dawn, I watched her peaceful breathing and felt something tight inside me finally release. Dad's medical equipment. The hospital bed. Oxygen concentrator has found new purpose. Donated to Austin Community Clinic with one condition, a plaque honoring Dr. Peter Reynolds. Service transformed into legacy. Friday movie nights have become sacred. Just Lily and me on the sofa, popcorn balanced, Oscar wedged between us. Our chosen family, small but resilient. At the hospital, Jessica, a young nurse with haunted eyes, sought me out last week. My mother keeps taking my paycheck, she whispered. Says I owe her for raising me. I recognize the shame in her voice, the twisted sense of obligation. Let me share what I learned the hard way, I told her, handing over the caregiver rights guide I'd created, 20 pages of resources, legal protections, and boundary scripts. Pain transformed into a project that now helps others navigate their own challenges. Lily's school presentation, What Makes a Home, earned first place last month. Her teacher described it as surprisingly mature. On the final slide, Lily had written, "A home isn't just walls and a roof. It's a place where you feel safe to be yourself." The spare bedroom that once gathered dust now shelters Sarah, a traveling nurse whose apartment flooded last week. The same colleague who had brought us clothes during those first difficult hotel nights. Circles closing. My phone buzzes with a notification, a Facebook post from Tessa showing her and Marjorie arguing over furniture at an estate sale. The comment thread overflows with their public drama. Quietly, I block both accounts. Yesterday, a message from Eleanor arrived. Tentative, hopeful. Maybe it's time for healing? Family should find its way back together, she wrote. Crafting my reply took hours. Eleanor, I value your place in our lives, but reconciliation requires acknowledgement and change. Neither has happened. My door remains open to you, but my boundaries with Marjorie and Tessa are non-negotiable. The unopened letter from Marjorie had sat in my desk for months. I finally read it last night. 5 pages of justifications, selective memories, and subtle blame. No apology. I set it aside without response, choosing peace over the exhaustion of engagement. The rain grows heavier as evening deepens. Lily brings her watercolors to the porch, painting the glistening yard in blues and purples. I watch her hands move with confidence across the paper. Wind stirs the chimes hanging from the eave, the ones Lily and I made from Dad's medical alert tags. They catch the porch light, sending soft music into the damp air. Some storms wash things away, I say, watching raindrops cling to Lily's hair. Others help things grow. Lily looks up, brush poised mid-stroke. I like this storm better. The security light flickers on as dusk settles, highlighting the handmade sign at the end of our driveway. Reynolds Residence. Not a declaration of ownership, but of presence. Of persistence. Have you ever had to choose between family peace and your well-being? What boundaries did you need to set to protect what matters most?